Look up on a clear night. You see a tapestry of stars, countless points of light scattered across the immense darkness. Many of those stars are suns, just like our own. We now know that planets orbit most of these suns. Some of those planets likely exist in the habitable zone, where conditions might be just right for liquid water to exist. This simple observation leads to a profound and exciting idea. The universe could be teeming with life. It is a thought that has captivated astronomers, philosophers, dreamers for generations. The sheer number of potential homes for life suggests we are probably not alone. This idea creates a powerful expectation. If life is common, then intelligent life might also arise on many worlds. Some of these civilizations would surely be much older and more advanced than our own. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is billions of years old. That is plenty of time for countless species to evolve, develop technology, and begin exploring the stars. We would expect to see some evidence of their existence. We might anticipate grand engineering projects, interstellar communications, fleets of spaceships crisscrossing the cosmos. The night sky, in this view, should be a very busy place. Yet, when we turn our telescopes and radio dishes to the heavens, we are met with an eerie and profound silence. We find no undisputed signals from alien intelligence. We see no megastructures built around distant stars. We have no confirmed visits from extraterrestrial beings. The cosmos appears quiet, still, and empty of any other technological minds. This stark contrast between our high expectations of alien life and the complete lack of evidence is one of the most compelling puzzles in modern science. It is a mystery that forces us to question our most basic assumptions about our place in the universe. This puzzle has a name, the Fermi Paradox. It asks a simple, yet deeply unsettling question. Where is everybody? If the galaxy should be full of civilizations, why do we see no trace of them? The silence of space demands an explanation. One of the most intriguing and slightly chilling possibilities is a concept known as the zoo hypothesis. This idea suggests that the silence is not an absence of life, but a deliberate choice made by others. It proposes that we are not alone, but are instead being watched from a distance, left to develop on our own without interference. The Fermi Paradox is named after the physicist Enrico Fermi. He famously posed the question during a lunch conversation in 1950. The logic behind it is straightforward yet incredibly powerful. Our galaxy contains hundreds of billions of stars. A significant fraction of these stars likely host planetary systems. A smaller, but still potentially huge number of those planets might have conditions suitable for life to begin. If life starts, it's plausible that on some worlds it evolves into intelligent, tool-using beings. From there, some of those beings might develop technology advanced enough for interstellar communication and travel. The numbers involved, even with conservative estimates, suggest this should have happened many times over the galaxy's long history. The Drake equation is a famous framework used to estimate communicative civilizations. Many of its variables are unknown, but plugging in modest numbers can result in thousands, or even millions. Given that some civilizations could be millions of years more advanced than we are, they should have had more than enough time to explore or colonize the entire galaxy. This leads to the core of the paradox. If even one ancient civilization had embarked on galactic colonization, they could have reached every corner of the Milky Way in a cosmically short time, perhaps just a few million years. Their presence should be obvious. We should see their probes. We should see their signals. We should see the artifacts of their expansion. Yet our SETI programs have scanned the skies for decades and have found nothing but the quiet hum of natural cosmic phenomena. The galaxy seems completely devoid of the technological signatures we expect, so we are left with a stark contradiction. The argument that the galaxy should be full of intelligent life seems very strong. The observation that we see no evidence for it is equally strong. This is the Fermi Paradox. It is not just a casual question, it is a deep scientific problem. It challenges our understanding of life. Resolving this paradox requires us to consider a wide range of possibilities, from the catastrophic to the mundane, and even to the deeply strange. Perhaps we are truly alone, or perhaps the aliens are there, but hidden from our view for reasons we can only begin to guess. Among the many proposed solutions to the Fermi Paradox, the zoo hypothesis stands out as one of the most thought-provoking. The idea was formally proposed by the astronomer John Ball in a 1973 paper. He suggested that the reason we do not see or hear from advanced extraterrestrial civilizations is because they are intentionally avoiding contact with us. In this scenario, aliens are not absent. They are present, aware of us, but have chosen to keep their distance. They are observing us much like we observe animals in a nature preserve or a zoo. The core of the hypothesis is the principle of non-interference. It posits that one or more advanced civilizations have established a policy to leave primitive or developing societies like ours alone. They would treat Earth as a protected area, a cosmic wildlife sanctuary. The goal would be to allow our species and our culture to evolve naturally without the disruptive influence of contact with a vastly superior technological power. Such contact could irrevocably alter our science, religion, art, social structures, effectively ending our independent development. The aliens, in this view, are acting as silent, unseen guardians or researchers. This idea neatly explains the Great Silence. If advanced civilizations are actively hiding their presence from us, then we would not expect to detect them. Their technology would likely be far beyond our own, making it trivial for them to cloak their ships, mask their communications, ensure their observation probes remain entirely undetectable. Our radio telescopes would hear nothing, because no one is broadcasting signals in our direction. Our sky surveys would see nothing, because their craft are invisible to our sensors. The silence we perceive is not an empty stage, but a carefully managed one. John Ball's proposal shifted the conversation in a new direction. Instead of asking why aliens have not arrived, it asks why they might choose to stay away. It frames the Fermi Paradox, not as a failure of life to arise, but as a potential success of galactic sociology or ethic. The zoo hypothesis implies that we are not the first to face this situation. It suggests that there might be a common understanding among mature civilizations that emerging species need to be shielded. We are, in this imaginative scenario, the inhabitants of a protected cosmic habitat, unaware of the zookeepers watching from beyond the enclosure. To better understand the zoo hypothesis, the analogy of a terrestrial zoo or wildlife preserve is incredibly useful. Imagine a team of human zoologists studying a newly discovered isolated tribe in a remote jungle, or a sensitive animal species observed from afar. The primary goal of these researchers is to observe and learn without disturbing natural behavior. They use hidden cameras, long-range microphones, and camouflage to remain unseen. They would never land a helicopter in the middle of a village to hand out smartphones and encyclopedias. Doing so would destroy the very culture they wish to study. This is precisely how the zoo hypothesis imagines aliens might behave toward us. Earth is the remote jungle, and humanity is the species under observation. The advanced extraterrestrials are the zoologists, using technology we cannot possibly comprehend to study our progress. This concept is a staple of science fiction, most famously captured in Star Trek's Prime Directive. This guiding principle of the fictional Starfleet forbids any interference with the internal development of less technologically advanced civilizations. The zoo hypothesis is essentially the Prime Directive applied as a potential solution to the Fermi Paradox. The zoo inside this cosmic enclosure would mean our entire history has unfolded under the watchful eyes of unseen observers. Our wars, our scientific discoveries, our art, our religions would all be data points for these alien sociologists. They might be studying the emergence of consciousness, the development of technology, or the ways societies handle global challenges. Our world could be one of thousands of similar experiments running in parallel across the galaxy. The silence from the stars is, in this context, the sound of good scientific practice, a commitment to maintaining the integrity of the experiment. The zoo active recasts our place in the universe in a fascinating way. It suggests we are not cosmically lonely, but are instead cosmically precious. We are a developing specimen worthy of protection and study. The lack of contact is not a sign of our insignificance, but of our importance. Not because they do not care, but perhaps because they care too much to risk contaminating our unique evolutionary path. We are living out our story on our own terms, completely unaware that we might have a vast, silent audience watching from the celestial cheap seats. Several arguments lend support to the zoo hypothesis as a plausible, if unproven, idea. The first and most powerful is that it perfectly aligns with our current observations. The Great Silence is exactly what we would expect if there were a strict, galaxy-wide policy of non-interference. It resolves the Fermi Paradox without needing to assume life is rare. Civilizations always destroy themselves. The evidence we have, a complete lack of evidence, is consistent with the theory that aliens are deliberately hiding from us. It is a simple and elegant fit for the data we possess. A second supporting point revolves around the concept of advanced ethics. We could imagine a civilization that survives long enough to go interstellar has overcome self-destructive tendencies. Such a mature species might develop a profound ethical framework based on universal caution and respect for life. They may have seen other civilizations collapse from premature contact. As a result, they may have decided to let younger species like humanity find their own way. Furthermore, hiding might not be purely altruistic. It could also be self-preservation. A highly advanced civilization might view emerging species as unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Think of a person discovering an anthill. Some might study it, some might ignore it, some might destroy it. To avoid a hostile or chaotic reaction from a primitive species like us, the safest strategy is to remain hidden. This quarantine would protect not only us from them, but them from us, until we show maturity to join a galactic community. The zoo hypothesis can explain why SETI has failed so far. If a galactic club exists, they would use communications far beyond our tech, like quantum entanglement neutrinos. They might also deliberately encrypt or narrowly beam communications to avoid detection. The radio silence we perceive might be because we're listening for smoke signals in an age of instantaneous, undetectable communication. We are listening on the wrong channels, because the advanced species want it that way. Despite its elegant explanation for the silent sky, the zoo hypothesis faces significant criticisms and limitations. The most glaring problem is that it is inherently unfalsifiable. A scientific hypothesis must be testable. There must be some experiment or observation that could potentially prove it wrong. The zoo hypothesis, however, has a built-in defense against any lack of evidence. If we find no aliens, the theory says it is because they are hiding perfectly. This makes it more of a philosophical proposition than a scientific one. The zoo you think is the more profound reality, a universe in which we are utterly alone, or a universe in which we are being silently watched. The zoo hypothesis reminds us that we might not be alone. We could be under observation right now. What do you think? Like and subscribe for more on cosmic mysteries.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the Off the Chart Multimedia YouTube channel for more fascinating videos.
The zoo